Okay, hi guys. Here's just a quick video. I want to bring you up to date on this. Excuse me, this ongoing Icom R9000 beautiful receiver, the companion project we're calling it. And to that end, we're going to build a big box that could sit on the shelf or on top of the radio or across the room, and it's going to have a new S meter. Here's a 5-inch S meter. Uh, I redid the graphics and painstakingly calibrate each radial angle for the meter. But I wanted to include dBm, actual volts, the calibrated volts into the system, and of course S units for convenience. Everybody likes S units, right? But what we did here is get that in focus. The Well, let me start here. I also put a this is not a backlit meter. It's a metal frame meter. So I kind of made it sort of an amber to kind of match the icon. Hope that works out all right. And I don't think we need any rear illumination there. I think that's gonna show pretty. Actually, when it's in the panel, you won't see the bottom. You will see it. Let's see if we get it just like that. That's how it'll show up. So I think that'll be okay. Anyhow, to drive this thing, we've got a high impedance source. Where's my notes there? Coming out of the Icom, there's an SSI feed, signal strength feed. Why those guys did it, I'll never know. But coming out of the radio, this is a very high impedance source. Well, what the heck they do that for? I can't drive a meter from there. So I was going to use an op amp, a TLO 71 or 81 or something, and get some gain because we want very high impedance here so we don't sag the receiver. We want a nice low impedance here with some power so that we could drive the meter. And I'm thinking about it. I said, you know what? I ought to use like a voltage follower. The same thing. High impedance in the front, low impedance out the back, blah, blah, blah. So wait a minute. And I'm looking at these buck boost DC amplifiers, and I'm thinking, those are fine, but except over here, they're always regulated. You dial up a voltage you want on the output, and regardless of what you do here, either under or over voltage, you're still going to have the regulated output here. No, I don't want that. Plus, I don't want they're kind of like an oscillator. I don't want an oscillator inside a very sensitive shortwave receiver. So I decided to do, instead of a voltage follower, and this is a new term to me, I didn't even know it existed. This is actually called a bus follower, BUS, bus follower. And all it is a stage of gain, high impedance, and of course low impedance. Now, to not load the Icom, I'm coming in here. I got about a little over 2 megs across the output of the SSI output from the receiver. And I put in a little pot here to tweak it so I can calibrate the meter. This gives me somewhere around average, a little bit high. I could have adjusted these values so it went even higher. The reading would be abnormally high. But it turns out that splitting it 50-50 came out to be about 15 or 20% high. So I said, well, you know what? That's good. And I put in a little trim pot, another half a meg over here. So now I could tweak it here, and the meter just reads spot on. And when I go to the meter here, and I dump in 50 microvolts, I get an S9, minus 73 dBm. All three of those characters are exactly the same guy. So there you are. Very happy about that. Now, let me turn this around here. Put it on. I'll scratch it up, because I will. I'll end up scratching. I built the thing up on a little board and brought the solder pads out to the turn it around, to the board, so you could just screw it down and make contact, and you're all good to go. There's the transistors and the divider. Oh, I didn't show on the schematic. Here's a 1K bias resistor. There should be a 1K resistor right there feeding the base. And a little tweaker pot. And we're good to go. Guys, hey, save yourself some trouble. In the future, whenever you're doing any work, or maybe somebody else is going to work on your projects, follow the RETMA color code, RETMA. The old RETMA color code from back in the 1930s. I guess it's still active. Contractors that I work with love it when I use it. And I'm not going to mention their names, but they're big boys. Big boys. And they like it. Yellow, input. Blue, output. That's part of the RETMA color code. Just as much as red is B plus or primary VCC, and orange would be secondary V plus, or if you're doing digital work, it would be the 5-volt rail. And of course, black, ground. Brown being a secondary ground. Bet you didn't know that. Brown is a secondary ground. And you know what the third ground is? You want to guess? Gray. Yep. Anyhow, there it is. This is all going to be part of that big panel that sits across the room. I'm going to put it up on the shelf. Put the R9000 on my desk. And as I tweak the VFO, I could look up at the thing. There's also going to be a video screen that emulates the video screen on the radio. That screen is a 5-inch. It was a CRT. I converted it to LCD. There's a video here on YouTube about how I did that. And I'm going to grab myself one of those headrest video monitors that the soccer moms put in their cars for keep the kids quiet. Shut up back there. And here's one I picked up. That's a 24-inch. I'm going to do a 12-inch. Maybe a 10. I don't know. But it'll be big enough to see across the room. And it'll sit alongside of this. And there'll be 2 more meters. One will be audio level send and video level send. Because on that receiver, you could actually tune off-air TV programs. And it will decode them in TSC or PAL. And I could feed those up to the monitor and actually watch television off of my Icom R9000. Isn't that cute? Plus decoding all the digital stuff, the military signals, ham radio, international broadcast, and all that. You got to love it. Life's good. Anyhow, there you go. I went long. In one KPR here on YouTube or Ham Radio Doctor. Please subscribe, and if you like it, give me a thumbs up. And there you go. We'll see you next time. Love you all. Stay safe. It's Bob, N1 KPR. All right. Well, here we have the S-meter project. You can see there. And because I needed a 500 microamp meter, this thing is 1 milliamp. So it's twice as big as I need. So I had to build a little voltage follower circuit here. And I'm using a couple of dividers from the signal source. That's what the essentially what it looks like. Except where the pot is, we've got these 2 dividers. And let's go through the, let's see, we've got a strong signal here. It says about plus 30 something 40 on the radio. That's right. So we got to calibrate that a little. Let me change the station here. Change the station. They're plus 20 on that meter. And yeah, we'll focus. They're around plus 20 over there. Again, I got to fine tune that. Another one up to 40. 40 over. 7.5 yes units. There. 7, that's 8. That's 8.5. All right, so there we are. I just figured I'd show you guys that. We're not sagging the input voltage. All right, thank you for looking.